Here we are again at the Out of the Mud Media universe. The first time we had technical difficulties, I think we got them under control. And my guests were so gracious to stick around and wait for my gummy self to get it together. And now we're going to go into episode 1 of the journey with Miss Alexandria Lopez. This episode is going to be the consequences of disobedience. And we have a special guest that came in during this time. He was supposed to have a show also, and his name is,
Twin, second to none.
or AKA Twansy. So, how are you doing tonight, Miss Lopez?
Phenomenal. Thanks for having me here. Even though I've been waiting all this time, but the time has been awesome.
Glad you've enjoyed yourself.
That's what's happening.
So, people, we've been having some great dialogue. We've been going back and forth. It's been it's been incredibly engaging,
Compatible.
So we've been fighting. Oh wow. So we've been just keeping it real while we were trying to get this stuff together. So we've had some good conversation. Out of that conversation, a lot of relationship talk was spoken, on the differences between what men think and what women think, what a real man is, what a real woman is, according to our understandings and to our viewpoints of what that is. So I think we should continue that, because if that goes in the same direction it did when we were off the air, and it stays in a space of growth, in a space of learning each other, I think it'll be great for different listeners. So, with that said, I'm gonna put myself out here a little bit. If they go too far, then I'm gonna just make up stuff. So I'm at a space right now that I'm not looking directly for a relationship, because I'm busy trying to grow out of the mud media, and I'm busy working at growing and sustaining Veterans of Now, my nonprofit, which this year is the 10th anniversary year of its inception and the 5th anniversary of our motorcade that we do. So I'm busy trying to keep those things afloat and going. 10 years is a long time to do anything. And then out of the mud, we're about a year and 4 or 5 months now. So and we're the fastest growing media company in Genesee County and possibly the state of Michigan. So it's just a lot that I'm doing. Now, what are my desires? I'm 47 years old. I don't have any children that I know of, and I've never been married. I would like to have children, and I wouldn't mind being married. But I'm not looking. And it's interesting how some of my interactions with women go, because I'm of the belief that women are sometimes delusional. They think something that ain't real, but they try to force you to believe that for their sake. And I'm like, I'm minding my business. I'm going back to the studio, or I'm going back to working on what I'm working on, because I didn't ask for it in the first place. I didn't tell you to throw nothing my way, and I'm trying to respect you. So respect yourself. I'm gonna just leave it there and let you tear me apart from there.
Why would I tear you
Who
apart?
said I was talking to you, Twan?
I'm not gonna. Well, okay, I'm gonna respond. I'm not gonna tear you apart, because I truly believe that you're going in the right direction. If you want to build something, you should focus on that. And if you're not looking for anything, I believe the woman that's coming in your way, you should be able to express them to them. And they should be able to understand that as a man, you're choosing to stay alone. What do you think about that, twin?
Crazy as hell. No, I'll just play. I'll just play. No, but I mean, it's to each his own. You know, he in the space right now. He's focusing on his business. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the woman that's coming along, she going she come in at the right time.
I truly believe that it's, if I mean the woman that's coming at him, they not focus on their own self, because like I said, if he's not interested in a woman, I think they should be able to understand that. But question is, are you telling them that you're busy and you're not interested in them? Are you being honest with them?
There's nothing for me to be honest about because I ain't talking to nobody. I haven't approached anybody to say, hey, uh, I'm interested in you. I think that you're somebody that I would want to spend a lot of time with and possibly even life with. I haven't reached out and said anything close to that to anybody. My last situation taught me a lot. Taught me a lot of the things I needed to work on that I didn't realize because it was a transition from a different part of my life. And now with all that time invested, I can't get that back. So I don't want to even have a thought process of spending any kind of time with. I don't care if we going out to go fishing. I don't if you have a thought process that we're fishing to date, I don't want to talk to you. If I'm going out with you and we're cool, you're ugly to me. You stink, and the only thing you can get from me is a handshake because I don't want that. I don't want no mixed signals. Period. Now, as a man, 47, and everything works 100% the way it's supposed to. I have my thought processes. I am attracted to women. I'm a heterosexual man, always have been, and I like women. I love women, but I focus on not sexually doing anything with women because I'm on a different page. Now, I might verbally say things and flirt, but it's only based on what I believe was something thrown at me first. Because I'm a very aggressive person too when it comes to people trying to test who they think I am. Go ahead, talk.
Just socialize, dog.
Look, Twine, you know I'm not built like everybody. I do things extremely different
I,
from most.
I'm gonna stay with you on that. If you are focused on your business, if that is your main goal, and you 100% right.
Yeah, I agree.
It,
There ain't no wrong with that.
no entertain. I mean, you it comes to a point where you have to focus in who you are, where you want to go, and who you want to become. And if you are distracted, if a woman comes at you to just create a distraction right then and then, is a time that you will never take back. So I'm 100% with you.
So yeah, look, and I don't need y'all to be weak about this. This is your introduction to your show. So this ain't the George show. This is the journey
We
with
definitely made all
Alexandria
about
Lopez.
you. No.
I see that, but I'm gonna throw a
Oh,
pass
oh
and
no.
make sure that you um
Fired up.
yeah, prophetess.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with all that said, for me, it's because we were talking about growth. People come into your life. If they come into your life, it should be growth going on there. I agree,
Yeah.
Yes,
but that growth. Go ahead.
no, it's got to be growth. I mean, you just said you're 47. At this time, well,
How old are you, Twan?
it doesn't matter. Oh well, it doesn't. Well, I'm 50, but
Okay,
the
you got.
age. But regardless, you're 50, 20 years old. Whoever comes to your life, they should be building. A person, the energy that they bring into life, if they ain't building you, then they drain you some way, somehow.
I
Whether
agree.
whether it's financially, spiritually, mentally, physically, they drain you some way, somehow.
Right.
If
Yes.
they don't benefit you.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
I agree with that. I
But
agree with
some of
that.
us are givers, and we build people automatically. I'm one of those people, regardless of what anybody gives me credit for.
Well,
90% of the people that I've been around, I've done more than they've done for me,
well,
and that's including
that's a numbers game.
that's including when we lived in Atlanta, because I brought to y'all something that y'all didn't have access to, and then y'all made a lot of things off of. Not saying it's negative, but I'm saying, you remember,
Well,
you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
With
You're
the
talking about
contracts and stuff
you're
like
talking
that.
about outlaws.
Yeah.
But here goes. But with
So
being a
I'm just saying that's been all my life.
okay, but with being a giver, you a giver, and that's who you are. But if you going to give and be a giver, which that's we are, the people that we giving, we can't have no expectations, because
And I don't.
usually the people that comes to take it from us, they don't have from themselves. And we're not just talking about the financial aspect, we're talking about the emotional, the spiritual, the physical. I i deal with many people in my daily basic, and most of the people that I help or I surround myself, not by choice, is the people that I attract. They not spiritually or mentally to where I am, and I ended up being the source for their growth mentally. And I love to be there, but I don't I don't let them drain me completely. That's a time where as a giver says, okay, I have done enough for you. Okay, and we're not just talking about the financial, the physical, because when you a person that's dealing with people that's not where you at mentally, they pouring out of you emotionally, and you can't let them pour to you for too long, because givers also need givers. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
recognize when you being a giver but not having nothing in return. That's where the part you okay with taking a loss and said, okay, I understood. When I got to know this person, I knew where
Yeah,
there
you
was
recognize the energy.
Yeah,
mentally, and everything I did for them is because there was a need for it, but I'm taking a step
I
back.
call I call offsides flag on play, because most, in my experience, most people take and expect you to just be a giver without wanting to at least be reciprocal in any way. I what I look for is reciprocal people.
That's because a lot of
So let me think. I'm out of that stage of life to where I'm just giving, and I'm just gonna get patted on the head.
But
If
in
you're
order
not reciprocal with what's going on, and I can't get and receive anything from you, I don't care if you have a penny and you don't have a lot to get. If there's some kind of value you can bring, then let's bring that together to create something great. If that's not happening, I don't want to deal with you.
yeah,
that's
I agree with you.
boundaries.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah,
boundaries.
yeah, yeah.
But that's the
I'm the same
phase
way.
that you are in life. That's I'm in that phase right now with you. And all my life I have dealt with people that I've been a giver, and we're not just talking about financially, because emotionally giving, being able to hold on to things when a person cannot hold on to themselves, that is draining, that is giving a lot of it. And now I'm in this point right here where I had to really cut 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 the takers and save the resorts, because I no longer in this season, I'm no longer I cannot be the supplier, because now I have to supply me. So as a giver, you will never stop giving, but you just gotta
Mhm.
make sure
Who
Yeah,
you
it's
that
a
giving to?
constant.
that
You're never gonna stop
but
giving.
in order to protect you from being a giver in this season, because now you gotta give it to yourself, is that you gotta make sure that you not encounter takers. So you gotta spot them on.
You do, yeah, you do got to spot them on, but at
Yeah.
the same time, that comes down to not lying to yourself.
Yes.
You got two ears, one mouth. You hear what I mean, you can see what you see, you hear what you hear, you know what you know.
Yes.
So, that's what it is. You see what you see. Somebody gonna show you that when they show themselves, when they show themselves, you see who they are. And if they happen to be that person that's draining you, I call them human vampires. Me personally, You know what I'm saying? They don't suck your blood, but they damn sure to drain your energy.
And I
I
think.
got a question real quick.
Go ahead.
So I hear accent. Are you from like South Carolina or Louisiana or somewhere? Where are you from?
I am from Brazil. I was born and raised in Brazil.
In Brazil,
Yes.
like the sunshine and
Salvador
the big
Bahia.
Jesus.
Yeah, the biggest statue of that is Rio de Janeiro. I
Okay,
am from Salvador Bahia, a little city called Camaçari.
okay,
It's 3 hours away from Rio de Janeiro if you fly, but if you drive, it's going to be 12 hours.
okay.
Mm.
That's awesome. That was my question. I'm listening now.
Okay, so you can't be driving people that wouldn't push your car if it breaks down.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good.
my
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
That part.
That part
I'm
right
not
there.
driving no one that my car breaks down and they won't pull it for me. This
Got you. So we got comment from Fried Chicken and Biscuit. It said greetings, and they're visiting us from Twitch. They followed us on a few other episodes. It's great to hear from you again. And they also said, "How are you all doing?" So they're asking how you doing. So
we are doing. I'm doing excellent.
I'm doing great myself. So
Thanks for asking. Please come on with the questions.
yeah. So let's keep going. So uh, the conversation got really, really intense and very real. So y'all, as long as y'all willing to talk about it, I'm willing to talk, and I promise to be not to be.
We talk about it. Go ahead, bring it on. That's the real show right
I need
here.
y'all to help. This is back reciprocal. Remember, I said reciprocal, not just
Okay.
me. Let's go.
Okay.
So, whatever subject or point that you want to bring up, let's go
So
on it.
I think you trying to go in where we was early, where I believe if if you are in that spot where you building your business, where you taking care of what's matter to you right now, do you believe in that moment not to entertain any woman? That means entertain them, period. No woman, period. That mean now you in a position where you focus on your business, you are staying celibate, and you just
Oh wow!
nothing that
well, I
period.
can't speak for him, but you know what I'm saying. As a grown man, and you got a lot of things on your plate, and you trying to handle business, and you know what I'm saying, knowing that you could die tomorrow, you have to live your life, be happy. You got to plan for tomorrow, and you got to watch out for, like you said, like I was saying earlier about the vampires, people that suck energy from your soul, because
Yes.
you know, some people will drain your soul. They could drain you to the point where you might not snap on them, but you're gonna go somewhere else and snap on somebody else.
Yes, because you are in you're in connection with their spirits.
So you know, what I'm saying, pretty much is, you know, I mean, if a woman come into your life, you know, you don't like the energy, let her keep herself to herself. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm a single man. Uh,
But are you celibate?
no,
Oh, praise the Lord.
So you celibate here, celibate there. What's your price?
no, no, I'm a single man.
But you're not celibate.
No, I'm not celibate. No, not at all.
That was your the main question, right? Or main statement to what you were
To the
saying.
statement to
So
where you
I
get to,
mean,
yeah.
you got to just know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing is about being honest. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you're too old to be lying, first of all. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really about being honest.
I hear you. So what about you?
Me?
Yes. How are you in the dating realm? Are you dating anybody? Are you celibate yourself?
I am, I
Uh,
am, I am, I am. We're gonna go there. I am
so
celibate. I believe in marriage. I believe in commitment. I believe in one partner intimacy. I don't believe in sex just for pleasure. I think sex is something that in my world as a Christian woman doesn't exist. If it ain't intimacy, it's not gonna be, and you can only be intimate with your husband, your person.
So you saving yourself to get married?
Marriage is the only way for me. Marriage is the only way. No
Well,
marriage and no nothing.
well, speaking of that, we got Tommy Boy saying good evening.
Good
Um,
evening.
Good evening.
I'm trying to understand. AL. This is Lucky. So he's talking to you. AL. Alexandria
Okay.
Lopez.
Yes.
This is your lucky night. I come to give nurturing, emotional support,
Mm.
financial support.
Woo.
Would you marry me? Enjoying the show and take this flower.
Oh wow. What's the name again?
Tommy Boy.
Oh, Tommy Boy. Well, Tommy Boy. I am looking for. Why would you? It's hard for me, Tommy, because you got in the conversation where I'm just wondering why would you identify yourself as a boy when you are willing to do a grown man work? Because
Mm,
everything that you stated to me, it sounds like a grown man talking. But if I read your name, Tommy Boy, I wouldn't be able to put your promises into your name.
mm.
Okay. Uh that was a very direct and aggressive response to all the flowers and the sweet talk.
I love to talk, but you gotta do the walk. I would have to see your walk. So
Mm.
in order to
And what does it mean by walk? What kind of walk? What is that?
everything you say is not it don't matter as your actions is what you do, it's not what you say. So everything that he said sounds good, sounds like what every Christian woman would like to hear. But in order for me to say yes, I would have to see you walking. But again, I would have to wonder, why do you say Tommy Boy when you express as a grown man?
Okay. So now we have fried chicken and biscuits said, I always stay, make sure you take care of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
do the right thing, and most importantly, who you connect yourself with, all those things tie in with the is ahead of your life. What was it? Tie in what is ahead in your life. Did y'all get y'all need me to read it again?
No, I got it. You basically talking about your future.
Okay. And Tommy Boy said, you know what? Never judge a book by its cover.
It's an easier way to say that. It's say, what you do today gonna affect you tomorrow.
I really truly believe, Tommy, that you're right. We should never judge a book by its cover. But I think the first impression means everything, and how we show up in a interview, that means everything. That means you might never have a second chance if you don't present yourself with the right posture. I I am 44 years old, and I am so glad, and
You took a minute to say that. It was like you had to think
yes,
about
but
if you
I
wanted to
am,
put it out there.
because I want Tommy to understand, as a 44 years old, I would
That
never.
that came out a little smoother.
Yeah,
It was
thank you.
it was. Am I gonna
I
say this?
I wouldn't want to call my husband a boy. I wouldn't be able to call my husband a boy. So I would have to say Tommy, and I wouldn't call you a boy. And I would be very offended if I were to go to a place with you and to hear somebody says Tommy boy. I don't think that's honorable or neither respectful. So I don't know, why would you call yourself a Tommy boy?
Mm.
It's kind of like when you say don't judge the books for a cover, it's just all I have it because I don't know you. So in order for me to say yes to you, I would have to judge in what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, correct? So like I said, in order for you to do the right thing and stay in your season, you gotta judge who's going to get in there. So everything that you offer was good. It was excellent. That's something that's hard to turn it away. But I would have to say that because of how you identify you, how would
I
you
believe
allow?
Tommy Boy is calling in now. I think we got a call in here. So let me see.
Hi, Tommy.
Hold on. We're gonna get caller. Can you hear us? Caller, can you hear us? Can you hear us, caller?
I can hear him, but barely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
barely hear him.
Hold on. We're trying to get you in here locked in 1 second. In one moment. Because it's not going through the headphones like it's supposed to. So, yeah. You there? Tommy boy, you there? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
I can't
Y'all
hear
hearing the
him.
headphones now?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear him now.
All right, loud and clear. Got you in the headphones now.
Okay, yeah, I would like to just answer that question. This Tommy boy on the line.
Hi,
All right, thank you
Tommy.
for calling, Tommy boy.
Yeah, and I just wanted to answer that question. You said saying grown man things, but then have a boy at the end as if it's boy. But at the end of the day, all men still have a little boy in them. It's just about the time that you know when to bring it out and when not to. But
I
if
agree.
everything is just, do you understand that?
Yes, I agree with you.
You agree with me?
Of course.
I mean, just like as there's there's two parts to us. There's the upper and the lower, right? The physical and the spirit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so just to answer that. Now, I'm speaking, and I also can walk that walk. You single, I'm single. Friendship has to start somewhere. No guarantees and nothing. Just like I was listening to part of the conversation when was saying a lot about, well, if they don't do this or if they don't do that, then it's not gonna be nothing. But you got to give people a chance out here. You got to at least give it a chance. If you shutting everything down off the first sight of something you see, then you might be passing up what was actually meant for you in a successful way, whether it's business or your personal life.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. 100%.
Okay. Now I'm not sure you're not from Michigan, correct?
No, I'm not from. I live in Michigan, but I was born and raised in Brazil.
Oh, you're from Brazil. Okay.
Yes.
But anyways, but you are living in Michigan now.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, then. So if you don't mind, I take it you attend church.
I am a Christian woman.
Okay, so I'd love to visit church with you one day. So if it's possible, you can get my number. You can get my number from the gentleman, and I would just love to come to church one day and experience church with
I truly believe, Tommy, in this point, because of the place that I am in my life, I have to stay honest with myself. um and I hope you will be okay with what I'm going to say, because I'm not going to change what I think and how I think, right? I love what you said, that is correct. You got to give chances to people, but what happens when you have gave many chances and now you know exactly what you want, now you know exactly what you settle for, and you know exactly what you don't settle for? So that means you have took a time, took chances, and you found out in life that you what you want and who you are. And in this point, I truly believe that if you don't have a relationship with Christ, I don't truly think that's something that I'm willing to entertain or even give you a chance, because that's something that you should want it for yourself. I don't think you
you.
should
No, no,
want to
I didn't.
wait. You ask me if you could have the opportunity to come to church with me, and what I'm saying to you in this point is because in this point of life where I am, I really would heather to encounter a person that's already in that relationship with Christ, so he can have his own walk with God, and I have my own walk, and we will just combine, and not something that I truly believe, but this is just the time of the life that I am. It doesn't mean something is it's not you, and I don't think you should take it personal. It's just something that I have to take my time and find out who I am and who I would love to
Mm.
give a chance to. So in this moment, in my walk with Christ, I would love to be to meet somebody that's ahead of me so they can lead me even closer to the Lord.
So you gather that from me saying visiting your church. No, I have a personal relationship with God, but I
Okay.
didn't mind visiting your church.
Okay, that
That's
sounds
all. That's all we was talking was a visit to church. But let me also be fair and say this. But all of you guys are speaking very good tonight. I proposed the marriage and said that to you just to draw that out of you. I just said that. So when I said the marry me thing, I just put all that there, you understand, to actually draw out something
so
within
you
the
you
show
so
to
you
bring some
so you
things out.
so Tommy boy, you said you wasn't real when you said about the marriage, and so
No,
you didn't mean
no,
it.
no. No, it is real, but it also was real to bring out exactly what it is in you
So
and how
when
you see it.
so when a man approaches a woman and he proposes a marriage to her, that means he knows exactly this is what he wants. That is
Exactly.
not just,
Exactly.
well, I'm a little confused because I heard when you say it, you just throw that out there to throw that out there. So now I really don't
Yes, well,
understand.
I'm not gonna come and say I can't come and ask you to marry me and I don't know you.
That's
So
correct.
yes, that part you understand was to draw out and
This
get
is
some
why it
good
was hard to
conversation
take it
out of what's going
serious,
on.
Tommy.
But the church and to honestly take time to get to know a genuine person, no, sincere about that right there, yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And you know what? I really pray and hope that the Lord will draw you near to them and that you will come across in that journey, that you will come across someone that will just go where you want to go in life. I
Oh well,
truly
he's
believe.
definitely gonna deliver. I have faith he's definitely gonna deliver. You
Yeah.
always do. Yes, is he gonna deliver for you as well?
Yes, sir. I will be praying, Tommy.
Yeah. But again, you guys are truly, I'm enjoying this conversation that the three of you are having tonight. You understand and keep up the good work. I like y'all positive attitudes and your honesty.
Thank you. I appreciate you too, Tommy. That was very honest to have you in the show
Yes.
tonight.
And
Tommy boy,
so
thank you for
y'all,
engaging with us. Thank you for being a consistent interactor on many different platforms of Out of the Mud. Uh, and we're gonna have a pop the balloon with you, man, so we can get you married.
y'all have y'all, y'all have a good one. I'm thinking about going over to Muslim now. You know,
Say going over where?
yeah, I'm thinking of going over to Muslim.
To Muscle?
To muzzle.
Yeah,
Oh, assalamu alaikum.
So sing,
yeah.
Tommy. I want to say,
Walaikum assalam.
Tommy, I will give
Yes.
you a suggestion as a real woman, and I really wanted this to be a real conversation tonight. In order
Okay, go
for
ahead.
you to just, it seems like you're a little confused now. You just want to go to Muslim. I just I really wish that you would have really like find out and get to know what you want, where you're gonna be, and then that person, that special person, will come.
Now I'm going to Jehovah Witness.
Hey, change your name to Tommy Man.
That would be actually
No,
better, Tommy, if
Tommy
that was
Boy
the
has
end
to
of it.
stay. Tommy Boy has to stay
Oh, you know what,
because
Tommy? It's gonna be a little
I'm gonna
hard.
keep your humor and the little kid is in me at times. I'm gonna keep that. I'm sorry. That has to be part of the fact.
I wish you well,
You
Tommy.
cannot just be uptight and serious 24/7.
Marriage is pretty
I'm,
serious.
I'm with you. Look,
Oh yes,
it's serious, but it shouldn't be a prison sentence.
exactly,
Well,
exactly.
You should want to have fun with your mate.
but you gotta get to
Yeah,
know her
you
first.
gotta loosen that collar up a little bit. You know,
Well, you can't marry a man, change a man. You gotta know who they are first before you marry
even
them.
even a priest crack a joke here and there.
Right. Look, I don't want to get
Yeah.
married and then I smack my woman on the tail and then she slapped me in the face like I did something wrong. I'm
No,
like,
no,
who did I get
she
married
gonna
to?
put a no, she gonna put a PP. See if you smack. This is just hypothetical. You smack her on the butt, she's gonna go put a PPO on. We
Oh
can't have that.
Lord.
In your own house.
Mm.
Yeah, in your own house. Can't have a PPO getting put on you
Yeah,
for
most
a
definitely
little
married the
light
wrong woman. She
foreplay.
do that.
Look,
We're not going there, y'all.
Yes, man. Y'all have a great night, and again, enjoy it. Always enjoy out of the mud. I definitely do.
Thank
thank
you.
you
All right,
very
Have a
much.
great
Thank
that's
night.
you
what's
very
up.
much.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right, y'all have a good
You also.
You too.
one.
All right, so we have something from Fried Chicken and Biscuits. That's why you can't force nobody to love you, especially of the person, especially if the person is sending mixed signals. But God will always make a way, no matter what the situation look like. God will direct our steps in everything we do, even in relationships, friendships, whether you should or shouldn't be with the person.
I agree.
I agree.
That goes back to what you were saying about a reason, season, or a lifetime.
Yes. I am in that season right now that you got to use discernment. You got to ask God for wisdom, and you got to learn how to identify, and also you got to know your yes and your no's, and
Mm.
that's okay to have no's and yes, and everybody is not going to agree within your season, because I have a lot of people that don't agree with me. They don't agree the fact that I will not just have a boyfriend for no reason. I truly believe that in the position that I am and getting to know my Lord better than better, he created me to be a wife. And I truly believe that when you find who you are, it's something that called equally yoked. Stay in your lane and find if it's not equally yoked, that's no reason to entertain. Some things you can see it that is not. Some things you will find out very fast. You just can't waste time, especially after has lived this amount of time. You should know something by now. When you a child, you do child things. When you're grown, you do adult things. So I'm in a season where that is no time to entertain it. If it's not equally yoked, I don't even want to entertain, and I'm okay with that.
Understood. But relationships is one of those things that a lot of people don't understand how to grow in those things because you're not the only one in control of it. So like,
You
let me
My
never.
say,
teacher season is over.
so
You
I get what you're saying, but for me, speaking to different people about this subject, folks have to learn how to grow in their own personal space
in their
far
own
as
space. Yeah.
relationships,
Yes.
because there is a problem in this country with relationships between men and women,
No, but
period.
you can't teach nobody how to love you though. That's something that
You
somebody got to
can
take the
teach
time.
people how to love you by the way
Uh,
you allow them to treat you.
that's true too.
That's correct.
That's true too. But I'm
Come.
just saying, like, you can't, you can't, you can't tell nobody how to love you. You shouldn't tell nobody how to love you. That's something that somebody should invest the time in to see you for who you are. They see what you weak at. They see where you strong at. They see what you need. They see where you know what I'm saying where you need help at. And if they care about you and they value that, then they gonna adjust to that, or you know what I'm saying, put it out there in the open. Then it's on you as the individual to let that person in.
I get what you're saying. I think it's a value system that needs to be adjusted also.
Well, how
uh
you value yourself though.
what no, a value system on how we meant it, because we look at things according to what appeals to our minds. Most of us, some of us have grown and had enough heartache and pain and grown to a point to like, I don't care, I just want somebody that cares. I want somebody that just loves God. I want somebody, because those things are the things that are most important to our lives now. But in a general sense, my interaction with relationships from the jump was attraction.
That's the
And
initial.
so
That's
for
the
me,
initial.
if I understood a little bit more or differently, even though I was raised in church and understood a biblical construct, it was still not something that was taught when it comes to the relationship part of it. It was just, like, be yourself, be myself, and what?
So I'm going to speak on that because everything I know and everything I learned, it wasn't the church that taught me. That was the word of God. That was open the Bible for myself and becoming so tired of making mistakes and not having the life that I wanted for myself, I have to do a soul deeper and search the word of God and what did God said about me as a woman. And once I got to Proverbs 31, which is a beautiful book for the woman out there to read, Proverbs 31, I realized that that woman is loved. That woman is cherished. That woman is honored. That woman is respected. That woman is loved. That woman is a nurture. But she's not just that woman. She is a wise woman. In the same book, God explains that a wise woman will build a home, but a fool will destroy. So I had a choice to become this woman. And the Bible don't just describe as Proverbs 31, but it also speaks on the man. So Ephesians 5, it is the kind of man that God has created you and you to be. But because we don't have that knowledge, we expecting someone to teach us what to be. But if you're really looking for the truth and to who you are and what God created you to be, you're going to be curious enough to open the Bible and learn for yourself. And this is what I did. So, in my point of view, I'm not just looking for a man that is into God, because in the church, you have a lot of men that's not of God. And so I don't, my desire for having something equally yoked, it did not come from churches. It came from finding who I am. And the woman that God called me to be, it requires a man that is worth to receive everything that God called me to give. So it is a certain type of woman, it is a certain type of a man. So I believe in those things. So my personal choice is, if I want to become a Proverbs 31 woman, which is a woman that's going to honor you, love you, you also has to be the man that God called you to be, which it calls Ephesians 5. So that was a personal choice. And since I made the decision, I have no longer had a heartbroken, because I learned that I learned what to look for, what you wanting, and what you're expecting of a man. And the expectation is simple: moral, integrity, value, honor. Those are things that's not a lot to ask. We're not talking about the financial, the physical. Those are things that you can get anywhere. But the emotional aspect, the spiritual walk, and
I hear what you're saying, but I think not. I think there, in what I've come across, women say that, but they put so much more on top of it when men approach them or try to uh, interact with them. So the Bible is the Bible, and if a man is doing everything he needs to do in order to chase the woman that he's looking for, or how attraction is one thing. If a woman don't like a man, she don't want nothing to do, and you can't do nothing about it. But if you choose to get involved with that man and to date him and to accept a ring, then your silly tail should have already understood what kind of man he was, because the thing is, he did everything that he was supposed to do according to his understanding of the Bible in order to get you to understand what kind of man he was. But I've seen silly women that, because they want the idea of being in something, and also, in my opinion, the idea of dragging a man, saying that he ain't saved enough, or he didn't do this, or he wouldn't do it, to do these things in order to embarrass the man and make it seem like he ain't there. But ain't none of that, there's no man on this planet that's going to reach the goal of Christ according to how we understand him. It's a daily walk. It's a daily walk. Now, if you're purposely sinning and you doing stuff, you're doing all this debauchery, then shame on you, man, because you shouldn't be going after any woman that is believing in Christ, and you up here trying to ruin her life. So for me, it's still the mindset has to be honest. It can't just be playing games, or
I
just a view of.
is one thing that people are not really willing to put on is time. Time will show who you are. And we're not talking about 10 years. We're talking about within a time, because who we are, it shows.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't want to get their time to know each other. Like I don't want you to do all those things to chase me. I want you to do all those things because this is how you are for real, for real. I don't want you to just trying to do all the godly things. And one thing, when you say silly woman, we're not talking about those. I don't even know if I can call a silly a woman, because a woman is a whole thing and a man is a whole thing. And I take those words serious, because if I'm gonna if I'm gonna say you a woman,
There are several categories in each one.
but you can put something in front of it. And if you say silly woman, you not talk about the Bible woman, the wise woman, the one that chose to be.
You talking
Because
about
I
a
think
silly woman.
so, but those
Every woman don't fit. Every woman ain't silly.
but this is why they
And I understand that.
that's why they are where they are. But we're not talking about them tonight. Tonight are not the time to talk about them. We're talking about equally yoke, which I believe we should be on the same page. The moral, the character, the things that you want, the vision, and you shouldn't have to make those up just to get somebody. Either is you or it's not.
Period.
And this is just the season that I had to get on.
No,
I
no.
had to get on my season
When you
where
saying no, no. When you speaking on equally yoked, you know what I'm saying, equally yoked. So
equal.
my perception of that is where you strong at, I might be weak at, or you know what I'm saying, where I'm weak at, you know what I'm saying, you might be strong at.
Let your weak. I mean, and that's why we call edification, right? That's why the Bible says that there was no good for men to be alone in the book of Genesis, and He created a helpmate,
Helpmate.
and
Mm-hmm.
this is
What?
who
Can
we
you
are.
repeat that? He created a what?
A helpmate.
Not
A
not a
helpmate.
woman that makes you want to go on the top of your roof and stay
You
out the house,
are you
which is in Proverbs also.
if it no, it's not, because that woman in Proverbs, she do things because she knows that's her job. She don't do things because is she trying to impress a man. She do things because she's walking in her purpose. Proverbs 31 woman walks in her
I get the
purpose,
Proverbs 31 woman, but
and
you know the
she's
other woman's like, "Hey man, can you please be quiet so I can come back in the house? I don't want to be on the roof no more."
I I think you describing a marriage of chaos. That's not
Toxic.
even something that I am willing to entertain.
No, I'm just talking scripture. I'm about to get the scripture, so I won't just be talking.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go to the
Y'all
Bible.
keep going
No,
though.
he talking about the toxic woman.
Oh no, but that's not who we're talking about tonight.
Yeah,
We're not talking about them
you
tonight.
talking about the woman.
We're talking about a woman. We're talking about a man. We're talking about the kind of
Mhm.
man I want and the kind of woman you want. Those silly and toxic ones, they shouldn't even have a platform. Mm.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because I'm not entertaining that. And you should entertain that as a man.
That's true
And the
too.
moment that they go a little soft, a little
But
toxic,
that comes from the point of being honest. So you being honest, when you being honest in the conversation, it's safer if you just meet somebody
mhm,
and you being honest and y'all having conversation, you asking questions
mhm.
about their past, their history, you know what I'm saying, themselves, what they like, what they don't like. You know what I'm saying? If a person being honest, you know what I'm saying, if they're not being honest, you should be able to read.
Yeah. But he's talking about that woman that he goes
I'm
home.
talking about the Proverbs 21:9 woman.
Okay.
It is better. This is the King James
But
version.
you only gonna marry her if you don't take your time to get to know her.
This is the King James
Because
version.
she will show up though.
Proverbs 21:9.
And she will show up if you give
King
her some
James.
times. You
It
right?
is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house.
I agree. I don't want to be with her either.
I'm sleeping on the roof.
No, you should never marry her.
Pull your
I
hair out.
already messed
You
up.
shouldn't.
It's done. I'm sleeping on the roof.
Again, you messed up because you did
That's
not
why I
know.
built this big man
Uh,
cave so I don't have to
Hey,
deal with her.
you messed
And
up
them
because
children get on my nerves too.
you messed up because you did not know what you was looking for. So now you took
She
home
was
what you
cute.
saw. It cute. It's not gonna cut it. You gotta be more than cute. Cute looks outside, physical, financial, money, muscles.
I
None
met
of
her at
that.
church.
Well, it's the devil goes to church too.
Oh
the
wow.
devil is in the church.
They go to church every day. Matter of fact, they was in church before us.
Mm.
So how are you gonna know that She's the devil. You just gonna have to take your time. If you know who you are, you patient. If you
Mm-hmm.
know who you are, you're not in a hurry, because the most powerful thing is that when a woman or a man finds who they are, they satisfied. They're no longer in a hurry. So time is not a problem. Well, but I met her 6 months. I'm like, okay, if that's the love of your life, what's the hurry? We got 20, 30, 40 years, however rest of our life is to be. So why can we take our time? What is the hurry?
Trying to have children real quick before
Time.
Oh, well,
before she aged out.
that's not the season that she
Look,
is.
she was right at that age, at the risky pregnancy, and I wanted to make sure that we was going to be able to at least make one beautiful child together.
You
The
just
child's beautiful, but the relationship turned
you
ugly after
just
the
gotta be
child.
okay sleeping in that roof down, because you got what you bargained for.
Mm.
See, I'm not in a season where I'm risking my peace, because a house without a peace is a prison.
Swing low, sweet
For real.
chariot.
A house without a peace is not a home.
We got another response from fried chicken and biscuits. We got to remember, none of us are perfect. We are not designed that way. That we are not designed that way. That's why we go through what we go through, because God wants to see how we will act towards people and how we will handle those moments in loving and unloving or unloving ways. So in turn, he wants us all to watch out for what the attack or what the devil has to offer and counterattack it with the word of God. And he wants us to build each other up and not shut each other down.
I agree with you
I agree.
100%.
I agree with you. I agree with that.
I
I
agree.
would add to that, just basically that sounds like just being happy with yourself.
And I
Proverbs
think
21:9.
I think chicken. Am I saying it right?
Fried chicken and biscuit.
Okay, I'm just gonna say fry because I love fries. Okay, I think it comes those uh things that we gotta establish before getting married. And I think it's so important, those principles where God tests us, and we can get to see whether we love one another and respect one another. Those things needs to be communicated before get into marriage. Because I believe if you are a person that believes in communication, believes in the word of God, and you marry somebody that don't believe in solving problems with sitting down and apply the principle, the biblical principle, those principle is not going to work if you marry a person that don't believe in solving problems. The word of God says that do not go to bed with anger. So I believe you those principles should apply in the biblical, in the marriage where God is in the center, that we should always trying to solve our problems before we even go in any further. So I do believe that God will test us, will see how can we love and respect one another. But again, the equal yoke works on, does he believe in marriage is a important place? Does she believe that marriage is a covenant with God? And if we both take marriage as covenant, that is no reason we couldn't go through stuff together and make it through it.
I agree, but yeah, I agree.
But what?
But they ain't got nothing to do with what she talking about. She's saying you being one with God. You being one with God. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be one with your mate.
Yes, deep. You come on.
Okay. So I got a question for you. Oh, I never answered the question. What was the question at first? Because celibacy. So y'all both said you said you celibate, but you're not celibate. And you said you're celibate.
Yes.
Okay. Am I celibate?
Are you celibate?
I am.
Oh, praise God.
I I, I, I haven't touched
Teach his
a
own.
woman in a minute.
That's okay.
No,
You
it's not.
oh,
But I'm dealing with it.
I am okay with where I am.
I ain't okay with it. But I'm okay with waiting
Oh,
because um when I do it again, um it's gonna be trouble. but I'm hoping that it's in a space and a place to where uh go on the long haul together. And I impregnated her a few times. So, it's all about, yeah, yeah, I'm going all the way. But
Children is a blessing.
yeah,
But when you're a little older, that's a problem.
well, I'm 47. They'll, 20 years. I'll
He
be
don't.
60
He don't have a
something.
clock. You don't got no clock.
7. Yeah, I don't have no. As long as I keep
You ain't
everything
got no
together,
clock.
I don't have the same thing that um
Woman
that
do.
that women have to
Yeah.
consider. So, and I in my perfect little brain pea head world, I would like to have about 5 children. So whatever that looks like, y'all can do the math. 5 children,
That'd be a blessing. Sound like that'd be a
yeah,
blessing.
yeah. Or I move to Utah and become a polygamist.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm out of this conversation.
You out of count,
I
but they Christians over there
What's
too.
wrong with polygamous?
it's just not something that I would. It's just I have no comments. To each his own.
Look, you done ran out of words.
To each his own.
Oh.
I'm gonna respect everybody. To each his own. It's just not for the sister over here.
Okay, the sister don't want to be a sister wife.
I don't even believe that's possible. The word of God says that you shall become one, not 3 or 4, and I'm gonna obey him. Anybody else? Because the only thing that you need to please is God. So you don't please man. So you don't whatever God says it goes. His commands, not mine. His way, not mine. His will, not mine.
I'm silent.
I'm listening, taking it all in. But yeah, something else. So, but this whole episode was supposed to be about the consequences of disobedience. What does that look like now? How, with all this said and done, I got another question. Have you ever been married,
No,
Twan? Do you have any children?
one.
Yeah, one that you
A
know
son,
of.
a son. Yeah, that I
I'm
know
sure you tried more than once, right?
of. Yeah.
Okay. So, if you would like, have you been married before?
Yes, and I have 2 children.
You have 2 children.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's interesting. I've already said it. I said I've never been married and nobody's ever came to the porch and said, "Hey, you remember that one time? That time?" Nobody's come to me and said anything like that. So I don't have any children that I know of. Now, being that you've been married before,
Mm-hmm.
How long
what?
was you married?
Oh, we was married for 7 years.
What separated y'all?
Oh, what separated us?
If you feel comfortable speaking on it.
We he wasn't in agreement with staying married. If I tells you that I did something wrong and he did something wrong, is nothing that can come against marriage. Marriage only get dissolved when someone stop trying. In order for marriage to fail, and somebody has gave up.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
if
agree.
you ask me what made you guys separated, somebody made a decision to do so. You can't. Marriage is a covenant by 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, to me, it's no. I can't. It's no good reason that I can give it to you to explain why my husband decided to divorce. That was just because he decided that he didn't want to stay in the marriage. The reasons for it, I don't have a good one.
Mm.
I don't have a good one.
So you saying you was a good woman? I'll put
I'm
this on mute.
I believe I believe I'm still a good woman. I believe I'm still a good woman.
That's what's up. As far as what I know about you, you're a good woman.
Pardon me?
I said, as far as what I know about you, you're a good woman.
So what is your question?
No, that wasn't a question.
Oh.
I just said, as far as I know about it, you're a good woman.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I think I'm a good person too, a good woman as well. I think I did my job as a wife. But in the end, that was his choice. I didn't feel like we have major reason for that. And actually, when my husband decided divorce, I lost myself
Mm,
because I didn't have answers.
mm,
And
What does that mean? You lost yourself?
I did understood. I want him to tell me why. Is there anything that I can do about it? What am I not doing better? And the answer for him was, "You deserve somebody better than me." And my answer to him was, "I get to choose whether I want to be with my husband or not." So the divorce was never a choice for me. I was never giving the choice. There
mm,
was just that something that he felt strongly that he he felt that was better for both of us. So I didn't really have a decision to make on that. When it came to that, he has already made it.
mm,
We I mean, as you can see, it wasn't, I mean, I said 7, but I believe 2 years, almost 2 years that we kind of hang on to the marriage. Like I was kind of not signing it, praying, hoping that he would change his mind. But one thing that he explained is he was divorced before he met me, and he felt as though is that he wasn't completely healed from the marriage that he was previous before he married me, which I believe that is true. I believe with we met and he was just pretty recently divorced within 2 years of divorce, and he was still going through it. So when we got married, he came with kids, and all the kids could see was mom and dad. So that became very hard to blend in families. And he just thought that was too early. He thought his kids was too young, and he thought that was going to be better for both of us. Because in the process, the kids wasn't really accepting the fact that we got married. So there was a lot of unhealing.
So, question: both of your children were with him?
No, I had 2 children coming into
Okay,
that marriage, and he had 2 children coming into that. He had 4 children
so the
coming
Brady
into the
Bunch.
marriage.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
and that was very hard to blend in a family. But I didn't marry him looking for nothing easy. If
Hmm.
wasn't
It
for,
sounded like you want to. You sound like you was willing to put in the work to make it work, but
I
it, like
said
you said,
yes
it.
to him for a lifetime. Just because we got kids, marriage is a commitment forever. So to me, is I said yes to what I wanted to say yes to. So now with that, it left me with a broken heart. I was really broken. So it took me all this years, which has been what, I would say 10 years. I put so much
That
of,
was 10 years ago.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've been divorced since 2016. Well, it's going to that time, but the whole time it was hard for me to be with anybody else. That was hard for me to heal, and I blamed God for a little bit, because I was like, okay, I go to church, I'm not cheating my husband. He don't We don't have all that cheating and all that, and why it didn't work. So it really made me feel like I wasn't worth it to love. How can you be so good of a woman and a man decides to leave you? So I had that question, and he couldn't answer to me why. Why? Please tell me why. So once you go through that and you find who you are and you understand it did not
So,
work.
so it wasn't. You understand that it wasn't you, right?
It,
There
you
was
know,
something internal within him.
well,
Well, it
wait,
sounded like he didn't have the
wait,
guts enough
wait,
to
wait.
say what he needed to say, and
No, because it's hard
That
to. It's
uh,
no, 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 no. Hold on. Are we going to touch on that accountability and responsibility and consequences? Because again, when we met, I didn't really got to know him long enough to know that he wasn't healed. So it is your responsibility to protect your heart, because
hmm
broken people breaks people, hurts people.
hmm
That is up
right.
to you to protect you. Nobody is responsible for your pain.
hmm
You are. So when he came to my life, and we dated it for 9 months, and because we was Christian, which I still believe in that, and but we really didn't really spend too much time with each other, because I lived an hour and a half away from Grand Blanc, that's where we actually ended up moving for. So we didn't see each other. So every
So,
time,
so what do you think that one thing was that said this? We're going to do this. That what was the kicker? Besides just hanging out and having personalities that just kind of connected.
that was in a hurry. We met each other. We was attracted to each other. We found in love with each other, and we just, he proposed to me. I was celibate when I met him, so he felt as though there's something that I want right now. But now the difference between before and now is now it's a process, a time that you got to put it on. It's a time because the equally old comes into has been in that situation where you don't know where a person really are emotionally and mentally, and marriage is not for the weak. Marriage is not just a thing where you're going to marry and everything is so good and I'm going to stay. Marriage is a commitment. It's for the
Right.
good and for the bad. So he first, he has already divorced because it got tough. So that was up to me to pay attention to those signs. So some people don't mind to marry 10, 20 times. Some others do. They take marriage as dating. I'm going to marry you. If it doesn't work, I'm going to run
I don't
away.
know. I see like my parents was very young. My parents was very young when they first got married. I wouldn't even thought about. I think my mom's was like, well, when she first met my dad, she was like 12, 13. But I think they got married at my dad was 14, turning 15. My mom was 13 when she got married to my dad. I didn't come along until my dad turned about 19. My mom was 18. You know what I'm saying? When I came along, there was two of us, me and my twin. Now, what I saw with my parents, as a grown man now, living life, having a child of my own, marriage, that equally yoked, it does matter.
It
You know what
does.
I'm saying? It does matter. My mom's was strong where my dad was weak at. My dad was strong where my mom's was weak at. It was a vice versa. They balanced each other out. Um, I seen that growing up. It's a lot of things that my parents didn't learn from their parents because they became parents at an early age. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was 19, when my dad was 19, that's when I came into the world. So I can, as a grown man, imagine 19 years old with four kids, and he still stayed, and he hung around and made sure he handled his business, did what he was supposed to do. Rest in peace, pops. Love you. But he did what he was supposed to do. Now, all the way until he died. But what I see is very important that you gotta love yourself. You gotta find happiness within yourself. And any person, this is what I've learned over time. You gotta be happy within yourself, within your inner spirit. You gotta find out what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do, where you want to go, and take actions and steps to get there. If you ain't happy with yourself, you're gonna be able to let any vampire come in and suck the soul about it. Like literally suck the soul about it. Because we do have human vampires. They don't suck blood, but they damn sure drain your energy. And people come into your life and they do that. They can leave a bad vibe on you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might not make it out of the situation. Some people don't make it out the situation when people come into their life. So you gotta be very particular about who you let come into your life and into your square. You know what I'm saying? Because motherfuckers got bad energy and they show it. What time will reveal, because it always do.
So, Fried Chicken and Biscuit said he made the ultimate decision to basically move on. Everything happens for a reason, and God knows
I believe that too.
what what's going to happen before we do, and God will lead us and on a new path, whatever that may be. Sometimes we have to, sometimes with the person for a few weeks, months, or years, he knows what's best for us, whether we whether we with someone or not, whether we're with someone or not. And whatever those new open doors lead us, God will lead us to the right person.
I agree with you. I agree. I agree. Point made.
Fried chicken, they agreeing with everything you said.
Yes,
Everything.
I
You ain't said
agree.
nothing wrong yet.
This is why I had to change my posture. This is why how I stand now. I stand in His will, not mine. Because everything in the life, it either can make you better or make you bitter, and I choose to become better.
Mhm.
One man's trash, another man's treasure. I trust in God with all my heart, and I lean not in my own understanding. So I agree with you.
All right. She said that. Look, do you think you could handle marriage, Twan? Do you think you mentally capable of that and physically capable and socially capable?
Yes, that's not a problem. The only issue is you don't know what people's intentions is down these days. A lot of women getting into the marriage game for the bag.
So
I'm just being honest, man. A lot of women get into the marriage game for the bag. You know what I'm saying?
so what does that look like? I'm say
So
take your life for
so it's
take your
almost
life. So if you were to get married and a woman was coming after you for a financial gain, what would that look like?
so man. You won't know it until you know it.
Oh, you
I
gotta.
mean, I mean, you can have people. Some people have people in their life for 10 years, man, 15 years, 3 years. You won't know it until you know it. You can see now if you don't like when she was talking about recognizing signs, you will see signs in individual, in certain individual. But when you talking about marriage, you know what I'm saying? Like what she was saying in her marriage, she was willing to fight and to build. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong? You know what I'm saying? My man's just like, he want to cut ties. God made it, he cut ties. You know what I'm saying? So now with with that situation, but you know what I'm saying, it's like, man, it's to me, if you know that if you that's why it's important you know thyself. Once you learn yourself and you come in total tune with yourself, you come in tune with God. And you ain't gonna let nobody
I'm
break your
I'm gonna
like
agree with you, and I'm gonna disagree a little bit. First, you mentioned that my marriage, I was willing to work and he wasn't, but that only happens again. Take some responsibility. It's because
you was
I
willing to take accountability if you did something wrong.
no, it's not truth because he wasn't ready to be in the marriage anyway, but I didn't take my time to see that. So right then and then it's me, broke people, and it don't take 10 years for a person to show you who they are. That's the part that I'm going to disagree, because you said you can be with a person 10 years and 20 years and they still know either you are or you will become, but it's no in between. So you get to know a person in 10 years and all of a sudden now you just found out that they into the bag. No, they was into the bag, you just wasn't looking at it, because in 10 years you can't fake who you are for 10 years. I mean, we've been here for 4 hours and
No,
now we just act like we are family. We can't fake who we are.
I'm just saying, like with when I say get to the bag, with like women jumping into the marriage game to get to the bag. That's a real trend that's happening right now.
But marriage is not something that you
But I guess
jump
for
into
me, what does
though.
that look like? Getting to the back. What is there to get? Look,
No,
if you coming to me,
what I
you
mean,
come to me. I need you to be Mackenzie Scott. I need when
Oh,
if you plan on leaving me, leave me like Jeff Bezos. Leave me like Mackenzie Scott left Jeff Bezos. She was the
that's
one that helped him write the first contracts for
that's
Amazon to get off the ground and stuff.
that's
But don't
that's what
come
I'm
to me
saying.
and think that I'm gonna have everything together, because I don't. Look, I so this is another part about me. I'm a disabled person. I'm 100% disabled through Social Security and through the VA. The VA is the only one that pays me. Social Security, I don't even pay for Social Security because whatever loop thing that happened. So everything that I do is because I don't want to feel, believe, or think that I'm on this thing called welfare through the VA. So I work my tail off to get what I get. So if you're trying to come to take something from me, help me get something to take.
I mean, yeah, that's what a
Because
helpmate.
the other stuff
That's
don't
what a
make no
helpmate gonna
common
do.
sense to me. You taking what? What you gonna take?
A helpmate gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? That's a real woman. You know
So
what I'm
so
saying?
so I'm saying I'm wide open. If you want to take something from me, help me get something to take.
That's
Come on. That's
that's
real talk.
yeah.
Be an edification of a person, not just a taker. But I think this whole conversation of us is to being able to identify those things because all those things have signs. And when we're talking about marriage, we're talking about lifetime commitment. So first of all, back to the beginning, you got to be okay with who you are, where you at, and being alone. Because you only jump into stuff and when you're not okay where you at. It's like, oh, he looks so good, he talks so good, he offered me all this, all this. Well, 6 months later, he's still pretending and acting so good, and I'm just he's the one. What would you know he's the one? You have not really spent time, and I'm saying time and see what our vision, what are you doing with your life, what are your goals, what is my goals, let's write it down. Let's First of all, I don't believe that you married to build, you started building before you get
Yeah,
married.
you build yourself.
So
You build yourself,
but
and
when you in a relationship, when you're getting to know each other, and if we are working to get married, if the intention of us is to get married, we should start building right now with each other. I shouldn't get to be married to see what you build, what you got, what you got. No, 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 no. That's not what you got.
yeah, I agree.
Marriage is,
I agree.
first of
I don't
all,
even care what a woman has. That's your stuff. That's your business. If we doing something, we get in a relationship. It's how are we going to grow together at the point that we met?
I'm to this point where relationship only work with givers. You a giver, make sure you with somebody
Somebody
that's a
that's a
giver.
giver.
Because if you a giver
Hmm.
and you dating a taker, and I'm saying dating because before marriage you should date one another, you should courtship one another, you should spend time to see how each other act. But I'm gonna say that is if you not a giver, and giver don't say it, they show it. So givers with giver. Relationship is I give, you give. If I serve you, you serve me. Nobody's gonna lack nothing. But if you meet a person and you just doing the serving and they not making no movement to serve, and you believe that once I get married I'll change, or I come across many women that says I ain't doing nothing for a man. I'm doing nothing for a man. If he ain't married me, I ain't gonna treat him like a husband. He's not a husband when you marry him. He was a husband when God created him. He was a husband to begin with. You're not a wife when you get that ring. You're a wife when you was born. So you should stay in your position of a wife anything, anywhere. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
Hmm.
That's no what you got. That's what we're gonna do. What we gonna build. And then for you a giver and I'm a giver, it's no problem for me to like nothing because as I serve you, you're serving me. Let me see you serving.
You got
I hear you. I'm listening.
you got a lot of takers in this world. You gotta
What
watch out.
I'm
I'm
gonna.
saying,
I don't
but you
do
see, did you
takers.
see how like she threw
I
that?
don't.
Look,
I don't.
I guess that means that it since we went an hour and 18 minutes, she ready to cut the show. So that was that look like I gotta work tomorrow. Look,
5 a.m. Hey, I'm not a taker. I'm a giver, so I gotta go to work.
I'm not a taker. I'm a giver,
so
but I
people,
will
I
take.
believe this was a very great first start. It didn't happen the way that we scheduled it and planned it, but it happened the way that God wanted it to go. It was ordained to go this way because somebody needed to hear it, whether today or in the future. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to continue to encourage Ms. Alexandria, Ms. Alexandria Lopez, the giver, the prophetess, and the server, to continue to come to Out of the Mud and be a contributor to help the souls that need to be helped and to be able to push a narrative that she wants to push that deals with Christianity and God.
And commitment and morals and all the stuff that we ladies shall learn from one another.
Just give me a hand clap. Well, yeah. So, what do you like to? What would you like to end on, twin?
I'd just like to say, you know what I'm saying, thanks for Out of Mud bringing me in today, having me to sit down. Uh, thanks, Miss Lopez, for letting me step in on your platform. I mean, with the session
It's a pleasure.
for today. But I enjoyed myself the last 2 hours I've been up here. Yeah. We had some pretty good conversations. You know what I'm saying, off the camera, on the camera.
Yeah,
You
we
know what
did.
I'm saying. So I enjoyed myself. We looking forward to doing it again.
And I'm gonna say what Fried Chicken and Biscuit just said before we go off. Awesome talking with y'all, Alexandria. This was a great conversation tonight, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. It's such a blast to have you in this platform, bringing some biblical principles and speaking the truth with is only one way, God's way, and no other way. Um, I hope to see you again.
All right. Do you have any other last words before you sign
I
out?
I just want to
Want to do a prayer or something?
I want to first I want to thank you for allowing us to just meeting here tonight and have a conversation. The purpose of this conversation, this encounter, is for us to lift our voices and being able to touch somebody's heart, whether we agree to disagree. The moral of the story is marriage is a commitment, marriage is a covenant, and that's a forever choice, and that's a forever. And it's something great to have it. That's a blessing that God has created for men and women to receive. And you will only know if a blessing and if you're willing to be a blessing. Marriage is not something that you take, it's something that you give. Take it into the heart. And by the way, just correct our postures as a woman and men of God because we're looking for something great. And you can only have something great if you are willing to give something great. Be in peace.
All right. So Terry Lisa just jumped in real quick and she said, Fried Chicken and Biscuit follows Out of the Mud. Awesome. And she also said, and the show sounds great. Great topic. So Terry Lisa, yeah, we had like 3 hours of trying to get this. How long did it take for us for the technical difficulties this time to happen to get
Three
straight?
and a half hours.
Yeah, so it's not because it was just happened. It's been some issues going on, but guess what? We pushed on, we pushed through, and we got on, and we got through. And I plan on doing that with and for everyone that I engineer for, and for everybody a part of the Out of the Mud family. So I'm glad that you tuned in. I'm glad everything sounds great and looks great. And we're going to continue to push for the highest of quality and the highest of standards when it comes to getting people out of the mud and us getting out of the mud ourselves and growing and soaring. So with that said, this has been an episode of The Journey with Alexandria Lopez. Episode 1, The Consequences of Disobedience. There may be a part 2, but we'll see.
Yes, I believe we should go there.
And we're out.
You guys have a blessed day. Have a blessed night. I pray that God will go with you guys and touch you guys. But the most of it all, that God will cover anyone that will come encounter with this video. And the purpose of that is to lead you near close to the Lord and stay in his principle and stay in his will and his way. You will never go wrong with him. I love you all. Peace.
That's what it